Greetings, Guardians. There's some big changes happening to Destiny over the next 2 weeks, i.e. the Taken King, the new raid that's coming out on the Friday, Friday for Australian time. Guys, there's some big changes happening, and not all of it is happening on the 15th. In fact, there are big changes happening this week. So on Tuesday the 8th, there's going to be some big changes to Destiny. What we're going to do, we're going to sit down, we're going to outline it all for you, get you all up to speed and let you know exactly what you can expect to happen once you log in on the 8th of September. So stay tuned. So guys, as some of you may know, with the 2.0 coming in, let's get the elephant out of the room. Weapon balancing will be a major factor. Now, I know some people are running around on the forums and on the message boards claiming that it's the end of the world, that Gjallarhorn will be nerfed and that they don't want to live anymore and Bungie hates them and blah blah. Guys, it's not the end of the world, okay? Yes, I know, I love my Gjallarhorn, or 3 Gjallarhorns, as much as anybody else. But at the end of the day, let's face it, it is OP, okay? It is insanely OP to the point where I have exotics in my vault that I've never even looked at because my go-to weapon is Gjallarhorn. You know, Gjallarhorn and Icebreaker. Sometimes I might like to mix up a little bit and maybe get Patience and Time in there. But to be honest, very rarely. So guys, all they're doing is they're just simply dropping down Gjallarhorn. There have been reports it's up to 20%. We're not knowing the exact figure. I will be doing a comparison today, and then I'll do the comparison again on after the 2.0 patch drops so that we can sort of work out the differences. But guys, also side note, if you want to know about all the weapon balancing, please check out our other video. I will put a link in the description below for it. But guys, it's not the end of the world, okay? Bungie hasn't deliberately sold Gjallarhorn on week 2 because they're going to nerf the shit out of it like some people are claiming. This is the second time that Zerg has sold it, so that argument's kind of blown out of the water. But guys, look, deal with it, okay? There's a whole stack of new exotics coming through. It's not the end of the world. Take your full hats off and try and enjoy the game. Alright, so now we got the obvious out of the way. So now that we got that out of the way, what else is happening? Okay, so they're going to be removing the light-based events. Switching to the new experience-based system. What does this mean? Okay, so no longer will you be able to get your light up to 34 and use that to go through and do the raid or do your Prisoner of Elders or whatever it may be. Light will still play a part in Destiny, but your experience will be earned, and as your experience is earned, you will then obviously increase your character level, lot like you do with up to level 20. Now the difference is that it now will go up to 34. Once the Taken King comes out, that will then go up to 40. But this will allow people that haven't got to level 34 at the moment because of armor or whatever it may be, to be able to go through and to basically hit level 34 by just killing monsters or bad guys or Crucible or whatever it may be, and using that to get their experience up. Now that's obviously the new system that will come into play. Now keep in mind also that Motive Light will and Strange Coin will be earned by your experience level. We're not sure if this is going to be coming into play with the Taken King or on the 8th, but no longer will be able to go through and do the weekly heroics and get 20 odd Strange Coins for doing it that way. You will get 5 coins, I believe, and 5 Motive Light for every experience level you gain, and that'll be obviously up to level 40. After that, I presume obviously your leveling stops, but you'll still get your Motive Light and your coins every benchmark or pretend level above that, like what you do with your Motive Light now, but instead of just getting 1, you'll get 5 coin and 5 Mote. It also means that you guys will have to be a little bit more scrupulous about spending your strange coins, because they're not necessarily going to be as easy to come by as existing times. Now the next major change will be the new armor and attack weapons. What this means is that obviously they're moving their weapons and armor to a new system. Now the downfall with this is obviously all the legendary items we have at the moment, or anything legendary and below, will be the existing system and will not change. Now what this means is that obviously for the next week or so, obviously as of tomorrow night, our Fangs, our Vision of Confluences, Fatebringers and all that will be less effective. But I don't also believe that any of the new weapons will be dropping until the 15th of September. So for the next week or so, things are going to be a little bit harder. Obviously, we're still going to be running the new system with old guns, and I don't believe any of the new weapons that drop will be the new system until the Taken King comes out. What this means for anybody who is trying to do Skolos, it is going to be a lot harder. Not only are you going to have a nerfed out Gjallarhorn, but also your weapons are going to be firing a lot less more effectively. This is why I've been trying to say to people for the past couple of weeks now to go through and to actually get Skolos done before tomorrow night, sorry. Because once that patch comes into play, not only is Gjallarhorn less effective, your guns are going to be firing less effective, and you're still going to be only level 34 anyway. So you're still going to be one level below as well. So you're obviously doing less damage, you're taking more damage, and your guns are not as effective, and your Gjallarhorns are just, well, a galley instead of a Gjallarhorn now. The next thing that's happening is the new quest menu system will come into play. Now that applies to the Taken King and also Year 1. So what this basically means, guys, is that you'll get, I believe, up to 16 bounties. And it's a whole new quest system. It's definitely worthwhile having a look at. That quest system is insanely cool. And I'm really looking forward to that. And also there's a lot of new features with the quest system as well, where you can actually track your bounties and stuff like that a lot more easily, instead of having to go into the menu all the time and trying to find out where you're up to and what you need to do to get the quest done. And incomplete bounties will be abandoned, and Eris Morn will be taken out of rotation in favour of Crota's Bane. Now, I'm not too sure what is happening with Crota's Bane. There hasn't been a lot of talk of it that I know of. But basically what will happen is all your existing bounties that you have, except for exotics, will be simply abandoned. Now, there'll be the Eris bounties will be removed, so you won't be able to go through and do more Eris Morn bounties. But there's going to be this new thing called Crota's Bane, and the reputation gains will be applied on that. So I'm not sure if we all have to start off with 0 for Eris Morn, or Crota's Bane, or if Eris's existing reputation will be carried over. That is something that we'll have to see tomorrow as well. Now, good news, any incomplete exotic bounties will automatically be completed. Now, for anybody that hasn't got a Thorn already and has the bounty, great news, you're going to get a Thorn. Bad news, it's going to be nerfed, so enjoy. But no, seriously guys, what basically will happen is any exotics that you haven't, like for example, I think I've got Super Good Advice. Basically what will happen is they'll go through and it'll just be completed for you, and the exotic will be sitting in your inventory or in your weapons slot. Now my suggestion to anybody is, if you don't have any exotic weapons that are going to be carried over to Year 2, it might be worthwhile if you've got for example, I got an exotic bounty on Sunday, and I had a choice between Pocket Infinity, Thorn, or Super Good Advice. Now, I've already got Pocket Infinity and Thorn, and I've already got Super Good Advice, but it was an easy quest to do. So I went through and grabbed the Super Good Advice, obviously just because I thought I could smash that out in like an hour or two. Be honest, I should have gone through and probably grabbed Pocket Infinity or another Thorn, because obviously I could give that to my second or third character, and obviously that'll obviously make it easier. But also a good idea is also to find out which weapons are going to be carried over to year 2 at the case of the Taken King. Now you will need to be level 40 for this to come into play, but a suggestion I'm making is that, for example, the Last Word, it is going to be carried over to year 2. So as soon as the Taken King comes out, we can actually go up, grab the blueprint off the Last Word for year 2 version and start using the year 2 version straight away. As long as you're level 40 and you've already got an existing weapon and you have an exotic shard, you can simply buy that weapon straight off the bat and use it. Now obviously the Last Word doesn't come with an exotic bounty, but for example, if they're going to carry over Pocket Infinity, then I would be more thinking of grabbing that than I would be grabbing, say for example, Super Good Advice, in case it's not being carried over. So just simply, guys, do a little bit of research tonight. If you have a choice between 3 of them, find out if any of them are going to be year 2. It might be worthwhile grabbing that, because then obviously you're going to be able to go through, and if you haven't got that weapon already, go through and get a year 2 version straight away without even having to level up the year 1. Speaking of which, the new exotic blueprint system for armor and also for weapons will be active. Now, we actually noticed a couple of days ago, actually a week or so ago, that there's actually wires hanging from the wall. Yes, Bungie, we noticed. Where those wires are coming down at the moment, I presume obviously the blueprinting system will go up. And it'll basically a way for you to go through, track what existing exotics you have, find out which ones you need to get, as well as you can go through and also replicate the ones that you already got. So for example, if you've got a Galahorn and you want another 2, you can obviously replicate another 2. Do keep in mind though, you will have to go through and re-level up those other 2. So it's not going to be a case of, hey, you've got a maxed out Galahorn, here have another 2. You are still going to have to do some of the legwork when it comes to that as well. Another thing that comes into play is the emblem shader system. Now this is going to free up a little bit of room in the vault, so that you can go through and basically you can look at what emblems you've got, which ones you need to get, and then allow you to go through and obviously keep a track on that, as well as to obviously replicate any that you need. So that's also a good thing for you as well. And like I say, it also goes through and clears up some room in your vault too, in case you got it full of, you know, emblems and shaders and cloaks and stuff like that. Now the legendary marks system comes into play. What this basically means is that all the existing Crucible marks and Vanguard marks will be rolled into the new legendary marks system, and you'll get 200 of those. Now, unlike the Crucible marks and the Vanguard marks in the past, you won't have a certain limit that you'll have to hit a week and then it stops. So for example, to clarify, so the max you can hold is 200. In the past, once you've gone through and you've got 100 for the week, you are not allowed to earn any more. That system has been replaced by a new system, a lot like the Glimmer. You have a max limit of 200. Once you hit that limit, you stop earning marks. But when you spend it and then go out and do some more Crucible or Vanguard or whatever it may be, or bounties or whatever it may be, you will then start earning marks back up to 200. So a lot like the Glimmer, and where the Glimmer cap is 25,000, your legendary marks cap will be 200. If you're less than that and you're doing activities, you will earn extra marks regardless of how many you've made during the week. Now the next big change is all class armor materials will come universal armor materials, and all old materials can be exchanged for armor materials. So guys, obviously here I think they're talking about Horadric Essence and Sapphire Wire and everything along those lines. All those old materials can be exchanged for armor materials, and obviously then when you go through and upgrade your existing or your new armor, obviously you'll just have what they call armor material. I'm not sure if that will affect any existing material that you still have yet to upgrade. So for example, if you're trying to upgrade a helmet or a chest piece or whatever, and it's year 1, I believe you'd still need to use the old system. I'm not quite sure about that. That is obviously something that we will need to come into play and we will need to test for ourselves. Now there's some other changes. For example, your Glimmer score has been moved from the character nameplate and will be now displayed in the character screen. So that'll obviously free up a bit of room in the nameplates for people. Not too sure if I'm happy about that. I prefer to see my Glimmer score where it was, but anyway, regardless, it's changing. Now, like the emblem and shaders, ships can also be found near Amanda Holiday for collections. So I presume obviously there's going to be some sort of machine or some sort of device there that allow you to go through and maybe replicate ships or replicate blueprints, and then allow you to cash in and get ships. So you know, if you've lost your favorite ship and you wanted it back, it might be a way for you to do that as well. Now, Bungie's also come out and admitted that they are actually allowing all Destiny players to go through and test out the Taken King new multiplayer content for free. Now, this will also happen tomorrow as well. So that'll be the modes for Mayhem and Rift. And in addition to the actual new modes, you also get the expansion pack maps as well. And we get to try those for 6 or 7 days until the Taken King comes out. Now this is regardless of whether you brought Destiny the Taken King or not. It's like a preview, but obviously once the Taken King kicks off, obviously if you don't have the maps by then, or you haven't brought the expansion, you obviously won't be able to play the new modes. They've also come out and said that the new subclasses will not be available until the 15th. So while you can go through and play Mayhem and Rift, you just won't be able to do it with the new subclasses either. Now the last change that I know of that will be kicking off tomorrow at 7 o'clock Queensland time is that all the rules regarding the bounties for the Queen will retreat and in anticipation for Oryx's return, or Oryx's arrival, I suppose. So guys, that basically means I believe that the Queen's bounties will not be running next week. We'll have to wait for those to come out to see what happens with those. But it looks like all the Queen's wolves, or all those wolves, will retreat and wait for Oryx's return or arrival. But apart from that, guys, look, this is pretty much all that I know is happening tomorrow. Please let us know in the comments section below. Are you happy with the changes? Is there anything that you don't like? Are you happy with the weapon balancing or anything along those lines? But apart from that, guys, look, hit us up in the comment section below. If this video was helpful, which I hope it was, please click like, and obviously remember to subscribe for the content. Guys, we are obviously rounding up towards Taken King's arrival. And we will be uploading all the missions and raids and everything as we do them as soon as it comes out. So look, guys, stay tuned. It's going to be a great action-packed month ahead. Have a great day and enjoy.